Okay, so we have hopefully a working version now. We've got Nili here in the red as Ethiopians against Eightspy in the yellow as Franks. This is the round of 128 best of 3 in Red Bull Wololo 5 qualifiers. Okay, so Nili dropping a range just above his woodline there, staying on gold this time, and Eightspy pulled his villagers off straight onto the deer and building a stables. So 2 villagers building for Eightspy, so that means that it's come up just about the same time as Nili's range, which again built with 2 villagers. Sometimes you'll see players build it with 3 as a way to try and rush numbers out as quickly as possible. Nili using his starting scout just to give himself some map information, not rushing to take any fights just yet. So spearman coming forward for Nili, and we've got a second range coming up as well. Nili continuing to add spears and archers, and so his spear just passes Eightspy's scout, gets 1 hit off, and Eightspy is forward with his own scouts now though. I imagine Nili will be able to do some resource walls here a little bit easier, and scout coming under the TC manages to run past for now, and Nili is in with his initial archers and spearmen. So scouts coming across the map for Eightspy, coming into Nili's reinforcements here, but with the spearmen there, the scouts have to run away. Nili taking out the villager that was trying to wall at the back of Eightspy's base, pushes him off the deer for now, and Nili going to use his archer to kill them. Again, ruthless start here from Nili. But again, like as a lower player experience in games against higher players like this, I quite like that. I want to see the level. I think it's interesting to watch and to play. So Eightspy taking into skirmishers here, will need fletching soon, fighting with his villagers. He has lost 2, but he's fought off this initial force, but the problem for Eightspy is that there's already more archers and spears coming across. Nili now producing from 2 ranges, taking his deer to increase his food collection. Eightspy trying to wall here with 4 villagers, but 3 spears, 3 archers forces that army away. Eightspy fletching on the way in now, and more reinforcements coming to the front for Nili. So if they come to this wood line, there's only 1 villager there, but push Eightspy off of it. More likely is coming to this one. That will be bigger damage for Eightspy, who then will struggle to be able to keep reseeding farms and keep producing skirmishers. So skirms are going to push the archers and spears away. Archers going to idle sections of the wood line, but they can just relocate to the other side. Nili taking a fight here on the hill, using the spears as a bit of a meat shield, trying to chase the skirmishers away. At home, Nili just continuing to wall up his base, wall to the side over there, could wall to the side over here, which that villager is going to do. Secures a nice big area and is on the way to Castle Age. Another batch of reinforcements are on their way across here, and the spears versus skirmishers. I think the spears are just going to win. There's 1 weak skirmisher there now. Eightspy dropping a market and is going to try and balance the eco a little bit. Rapidly trying to get these walls up, but there's still some big gaps, and Nili is here with an army of archers. And he's going to build a gate, so he does get the walls up for the time being. But that is just a palisade gate, so should go down fairly quickly, and Nili dropping a 3rd range will be onto crossbow production very, very soon. Horse collar coming in as well, ready to drop farms to allow 2nd and 3rd TCs. I wouldn't be surprised if Nili goes for a university first, trying to get ballistics. I think military is the play in Empire Wars, but I am way below the level of both these players, so important here for Nili, I think, to try and preserve his numbers. He's 30 seconds away. Crossbow comes in quite quickly, so just keep the numbers, and then this is a devastating force. Looping around again to this woodline in the south. Not being shadowed by Eightspy. I think Eightspy there could be trying to force that engagement. Especially now. As soon as Nili hits Castle Age, he should know that Crossbow and Bodkin will be coming in. Deagle, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. So the pikeman keeping that gap open at home. It is a university for Nili, so we'll be going for ballistics as soon as possible. The crossbow completes, and so does Bodkin. And so now Nili will micro down the skirmishers and has a new batch of crossbowmen on the woodline. And I think this could be a GG very, very soon. Eightspy not reacting to this just yet. I think he now just realises lost a few villagers to that force already and is down on skirmisher numbers. This gap is still open at the back of his base, so Nili come straight in onto the gold. Possibly just going to wait. Oh no, he's getting ballistics now, so he'll start moving in, and he took out the palisade, so he doesn't even need to walk around. Eightspy is off of this woodline, and now off the gold as well. More villagers go down, and the GG is called. Nili taking game 1-0. Yeah, we'll run through quickly so that we can try and jump into... Thank you, Jive. I was just about to say I'm going to run through quickly to try and jump straight into the next game. And so just jump into Capture Age. I don't know how long ago they launched, so I will I'll probably just cast as normal. Interesting Civ matchup. Yeah, it is. So we have Nili here in the red as Britons against Eightspy in the yellow as Goths. So this map is kind of like a hideout style, where you've got the TC within the woodline a little bit. There is this stone terrain going around the outside which you can't build across. So you can wall to your houses at the front here to protect your TC, but your gold and your berries are outside of that, which you can't protect doing so. So you will rely upon military to protect it. Hey Matos, welcome. I think Eightspy having a little bit of issue with the palisades there, but he's just going to commit and do it. APM at this point I think is more important than the maybe 10 wood he'd save. So Nili has started his archer production. Started dropping more farms as well, I think. And Eightspy doing the same. Nili taking the deer again. Who did I lose to? I can't remember the name, but it was an 1800. So I expected to lose. So Scout's just taking engagement on the left-hand side of the map here. Nili a little bit ahead on HP. Eightspy heading towards the hill, if he knows it's there. So we've got Fletching coming in for Eightspy's skirmishers. So I think Eightspy is just going to play a little bit more passively here. Try and keep his mass alive. Well, not keep his mass alive. Try and protect his base. Try and protect his access to resources. And building a defensive tower already. I'd like this a bit closer to the gold, actually. I think Nili could sit over here and range some of the gold miners. Last time you almost beat Nili. Well, I'm not quite going to claim that I almost beat Nili. I made it competitive, which I'm pleased with. Okay, Nili has stopped production. He's got the food, he's just waiting for a little bit of gold, and will then be able to click up. Eightspy a little bit further away. Nili runs into the skirmishers, pulls his scout back, and pulls his archers back. So Nili sending more villagers across the gold. Wouldn't be surprised to see a second mining camp just for a bit more efficiency. Or even over to one side. But maybe the gold is more important for other purposes for the time being. So skirmishers from Eightspy are starting to move forward. Nili this time pulling his archers back, looking to preserve his numbers. Still is open into his base here, but I imagine a gate at some point would be quite feasible. Nili not adding any extra production buildings as of yet. Kind of expected to see a second range. And Eightspy is switching across heavily onto stone, which Nili didn't see. Oh, sorry, no, he saw the mining camp. He's fine. He'll know. Skirmishers are in on Nili's woodline. Nili just kind of baiting them out with the archers. Loses one to the skirmishers. And Nili continuing to try and preserve that mass. So I guess the not wanting to continue too heavily into archers makes sense against Goths, especially if you know they're going onto stone. Eightspy is probably going to be looking to go for Huskarls. Nili going for 2 town centres instead, adding a stable, so he'll try and get a few knights out and try and clear up these skirmishers. Only just getting fletching, and crossbow now coming in as well. So 3 TC approach for Nili. Eightspy is going to have the stone, so castle locations, protecting this kind of entrance to his base would make a lot of sense at this point for me. Eightspy is there now. Or even, yeah, no, okay. On the hill, protecting the gold and some of the stone nearby. Seems perfectly reasonable. Nili, with the knight out, will clear up these skirmishers and he can send his small army of crossbows forward. Nili continuing to add crossbows, looking to try and get a little bit of eco damage, but not investing too heavily, knowing that Huskarls will be coming in the near future. Hasn't invested into Bodkin yet either. Coming across, heading to that gold. Doesn't see the castle as of yet. Crossbows not quite picking off the skirmisher. They're now going to try and break through the palisades, and Eightspy is going to wall up behind. So Nili moves and scout to the north, just keep some vision over there, and Knight is probably going to head straight to that gold. Nili moving across now, sees the castle, pulls back, and I'm expecting a barracks transition shortly. So Knight and crossbow is going to try and break in. Huskarl production is starting for Eightspy. He's got the first armor upgrade. And Nili will be into his base. At the moment, it's going to be a bit hard for the Huskarls to engage with the Knights there. I mean, like, Britons don't really want to go Knights as a long-term composition. They don't get bloodlines, but they're still 100 HP units. Huskarls 60 HP, lacking much in the way of melee armor. So Knights should be able to deal quite well with Huskarls unless Eightspy is able to mix in some pikes. And here we go, Nili researching supplies currently, building a monastery, so he's going to look to collect relics. So Nili seeming to be content that he's got a little bit of a lead here. Focus continues on his economy, getting wheelbarrow. Has stopped knight and crossbow production for the time being. So using a couple of knights on the right hand side just to keep the vision. They're patrolling across so that he'll know as soon as Eightspy comes forward with anything. Scout on the left hand side looking for all the relics. So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he has vision of all of them. So now just checking about extra resources. Sees almost everything, I think. But yeah, there's a gold there that he'll find shortly. Stone in the south. hasn't started any military production yet. Still not getting any of the infantry upgrades. Can you move the Red Bull logo a bit for score? Yes, I absolutely can. I had to put it somewhere, so I kind of just put it there. What I might do, if I can probably make it a little bit smaller and just stick it up there. Does that work okay? Let me know if that's not, and I'll try and reposition it somewhere else. That means that it'll be in the way of Nili's researchers, so I will move it. There should be fine. I can't think what would come up in that section there, so let's go with that. Perfect. Cheers. Thank you for that. Like, any feedback, etc., feel free to let me know. I will try and rectify things. So we do have Huskarls starting to raid. Nili has added a second barracks, and the Knights are coming home to deal with this. So Huskarls with 8 pierce armor currently. Crossbows only 6 attacks, so the crossbows are going to be doing 1 damage per shot. Nili managed to get 1 conversion. A few more Huskarls now coming across. And the man-at-arms out as well. Nili researching longswordsman. Eightspy is continuing with his Huskarl production for the time being, dropping lots of farms and getting forging, so increase the attack of his Huskarls. And Nili waiting for... well, no, he's just protecting that south side of his map for the time being. Huskarl chasing back, so he'll lose that one. And there was a villager coming forward from Eightspy, which Nili... oh, I assume Nili's knight was enough to scare it away for the time being. And going for a 3rd TC in the north. Okay. I guess gives him some more gold access, assuming he knows about it. Otherwise, it's just a TC that Nili's unlikely to find. He does see the resources over there, so gives him some gold income. Nili, I presume, got another conversion. Nili selling a lot of wood. Nili's going to go imp. He's got the resources. He doesn't have the second building, so he's just going to try and rush down a university there. And Eightspy nowhere near. So Huskarl mass just staying a little bit passively for the time being, which I think I would say is a slight mistake, because it means that Nili has time to mass up the longswords, and he's coming forward for a castle. Presumably could put it even here to deny the woodline. Going to build the house for the time being. Okay, it's going to be a little bit further back. The fairly sizable mass of Huskarls now running forward, taking engagement versus the longswords and knights, and Huskarls are going to lose that. They're trading okay, I think. And for Nili, that castle should go up, and he has reinforcements still coming across. Eightspy presumably sees that castle. He does, and Nili dropping more barracks in this forward position, ready to try and deal with more Huskarls coming. Nili getting some quick walls down, so he protects his villagers there, so these buildings should go up no problem. And more and more longswords flooding in for Nili. Raiding with a knight in the north. Pulls back now, probably go back to the gold. Here, Huskarls going to take a fight under the castle, which not necessarily wise when fighting longswords as well. So nearly 11 longswords against 6 Huskarls for Eightspy. Eightspy still queuing up in the castle. Would be worth trying to research Anarchy so that he can build them from the barracks, just to be able to get that mass out a little bit faster. But in all honesty, I think persisting with Huskarls is the wrong move at this point, with Nili already investing heavily into longsword and infantry production. And Nili has two-handed swordsman and iron casting coming in now, going out to stone, so he's going to look for a second castle in the near future. Nili already adding trebuchets, and so he'll come and sit under this castle, try and protect it with his longswords. Eightspy has managed to click up to Imp. I think he cancelled most of the Huskars he had queued up. John Nash, thank you for the host. Welcome to the stream. We are now following Nili's progress through Red Bull Wololo for the day. Nili using his monks to push the villagers back from the house wall here, and the two-handed swordsman should be able to break their way in. And yeah, so managed to get on top of that foundation. Oh no. More barracks being added, and it is a longsword switch for Eightspy. Eightspy does have his Huskars raiding Nili's gold again. Nili reacts, garrisons, and will queue up reinforcements at home. Does have champion coming in now. Britain champions will be stronger than Goth champions, but it's for Goths it's about the efficiencies of trades. There's being, I want to say 30% cheaper in Imperial, but I could be wrong on that. Razlofio, thank you for the follow, welcome to the stream. So, two-handed swordsman break into the base here of Eightspy, and 35% cheaper. Thank you, Hans, appreciate the correction. I couldn't remember the exact figure. Nili is going to sit under this TC, try and take it out with his champions. It's going to be close to denying Imperial Age. It does, it goes down before the Imperial Age comes in. Well, but Britons have supplies. That's true. That's very true, Nili. And Nili does indeed take the game 2-0. So 45 food, 20 gold versus 39 food, 13 gold. Yeah, okay. So saving 6 food is kind of negligible. 7 gold, again, not too big a deal. GG indeed. Yeah, that was a nice matchup. I like watching Britons versus Goths. Eightspy doing a good job raiding with the Huskars. I think there was a point where he had quite a lot queued, just playing stationary at home, and it just gave Nili that option to come forward. Maybe choosing to raid would have been a little bit of a better option at that point, use the mobility. But as I will put as a caveat all the way through, Eightspy is comfortably better than me as a player, so my advice is based on what I can see. Heldsvog, welcome to the stream. Thank you for the follow. And yeah, so Eightspy with a positive KD, but Nili having a stronger economy behind it, able to take those trades and gain map position. Yeah, higher villager count, able to be put into that economy and allow Nili to press forward. Okay, let me try and get this working again now.